Okay, I think I am recording. Hi, everybody. This is Paul Finkelstein. I'm acting as Sergeant at Arms for our Business Leaders Toastmaster Founding Club project here at OMG Biz Cafe. As a Sergeant at Arms, which is in all Toastmaster clubs, my duties first will give you an inspiration of the meeting. And the inspiration I have for you is coming from the ABCs of inspiration. But today I'm going to give you the letter H for ABCs of inspiration on page 18 of the Portable Pep Talk. It's a pretty neat book. I don't know if you guys have it, but it's about the ABCs to achieve your dreams. And H is hang on to your dreams. Hang on to your dreams. And moving along, we go with the Pledge of Allegiance because Ralph Smedley, 100 years ago, founded Toastmasters in, believe it or not, Santa Ana, California. And now the headquarters is in Englewood, Colorado, close to my sister, apparently. And so Toastmasters, founded by Ralph Smedley, he started it at a YMCA in the vision, similar vision to Dale Carnegie for communication and leadership skills. So we'll start with our Pledge of Allegiance. You guys could, if you're in a spot where you could stand or sit and put your hand up and will help me do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance
Pledge allegiance
flag
to
of the
the
United
flag of the United
States of America
States of America
and to the
and to the
republic for
republic
which it
for which it
stands,
stands,
one nation
one
under
nation,
God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with
and justice
liberty
for
and
all.
justice for all.
Okay, it's hard to do with a microphone.
Yeah.
And next up is the word of the day. The sergeant at arms would actually, if the word grammarian, which usually Adrian's been helping us with the helper.
I have a word.
So if you do have one, you don't have to give me the word grammarian stuff or anything like that, but just give us the word at this point. The sergeant at arms will now call up the grammarian to give us the word of the day.
The word of the day is aberration. An aberration is something strange that rarely occurs.
Oh, okay. That's what
This
I thought.
demo Toastmasters is an aberration of an in-person Toastmasters group right now.
Strange, but happens, but doesn't really happen. Okay.
Right. Rarely occurs that we have a demo Toastmaster meeting on the Skylar Network in the OMG Biz Cafe. It doesn't happen. It's an aberration.
Awesome. So I'll drink to that aberration. I'm not supposed to say drink to that aberration for.
No, you can move in. I got a bed for you.
No, I'm probably gonna stop saying I'll drink with Adrian here. All right. So on that note, by the way, at a Toastmaster meeting, after almost every speaker, we have applause, so you'll get instant recognition. So after the inspiration, the pledge, well, you could clap for the pledge, the word of the day. Thank you so much, Adrian, as well. And then I'm going to introduce the president pro tem to start off our meeting. So the president, I'll take that role as the president pro tem. We'll do introductions. So now you'll say, when I say your name, if you could say how your name is pronounced and your city and your occupation in like one to three words, just your occupation. And then president pro tem end with. So we'll start with Sherry, your name, city, and occupation in 1 to 3 words, and president pro tem at the end. Go ahead, Sherry.
Sherry White, city, Lake Worth, Florida, tax accountant, president pro tem.
Thank you. And Adrian?
Hi, everybody. I'm Adrian Tickey. I am a recovery strategist in Delray Beach, Florida.
And then president pro tem at the end of that.
President pro tem.
Yeah, it's a new thing. And then for all, you're welcome to say your name, city, occupation in 1 to 3 words, and the end in president pro tem. You want to unmute yourself and you could introduce yourself.
Sure. Okay. My name is Earl Rodrigue from Montreal, Quebec. I'm an agency owner, president pro tem.
Perfect. You did it right. And then I would call on Franz. Oh, yeah, we could, a little small applause there. And then I would call on Franz, but he's making an attempt and he's still not here, so I'm ditching him. Okay, everybody, I'm your President Pro Tem. Thank you guys all for being here. And now we'll get the meeting rolling, and I'll introduce our Toastmaster of the day. Hello, I'm the Toastmaster of the day. When you have a smaller club and a club to be, obviously it grows as we let people know of the format of Toastmasters. So Toastmasters is arranged into three different parts. There's impromptu speaking or table topics, there's prepared speeches, and there's evaluations. And then there's three helper roles. I help remember those roles by a acronym TAG, or timer, odd counter, and grammarian. Today, double timing it and multitasking it is Adrian Ticky. She's going to tell us. You could repeat it after me. I don't know if you saw the cheat sheet handout that I'll have to give to you too for precise things. But for timer, all you really need to say is my job is to keep track of all time during the meeting. And then the timing parameters we talk about during those actual parts.
Sure.
So for
Yeah.
timer, you can go ahead and repeat that.
So I'm Adrian. I'm your timer for today. I will be timing all parts of the meeting and giving a report at the end of the meeting as far as how we did on time.
That's perfect. And then for the odd counter, I'll let you take that away.
So I'm also the ah counter. That means that if you say any kind of a filler word like and, but, you know, so, if you repeat things like what I mean is, that's also a double. So that's a filler word. So I will mark it down and keep track and give a report at the end of the meeting on how many times people said and
Yeah, that's a double clutch, not a double shot. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Double clutch.
Yeah, double clutch, not double shot. Can't say that here, but the recovery comes home in our midst. And the grammarian, tell us what the grammarian's job is, to keep track of the use of language in the meeting.
Sure. So
yeah.
I gave the word of the day, aberration. I gave the definition of the word of the day and also used it in a sentence to display how it is applied in the English language. So if you all would be kind enough to repeat that word, if you can remember to do that within your speech, that's great. Earl, if it's your first time, if you can't remember, don't worry about it. But it's just a little throw it in there to keep you on your feet.
And before I go on to introduce our table topic speaker and go on to that portion of the meeting, there is two different gray boxes that you see down below, but one's covered for me. But if you're using the three horizontal dots, you can see both boxes and click on the blue dot, the blue square, and download the actual meeting protocol and the actual agenda. And just for the record, no, I'm not going to share the screen because I think it affects the recording. All right, so because I did that last time. So now I'm going to go to our second part of the meeting of the three parts, which is table topics. And our topic master today is Sherry White, and you could take it over for this part of the meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President Pro Tem.
And Toastmaster of the day, really.
And, all right. So who do I thank?
Well, both, actually, since I am both.
All right. And Toastmaster of the day.
Good to be the king. Okay, thank you. All right. And we clap everybody, too. Okay.
Okay. So Adrian, can you tell us how much time we have for this?
Yes, I sure will. I think the explanation of your role is not timed, but the actual table topics themselves, you will get your question and you will have 1 minute. I will hold up the green.
Yeah, we
After a minute, 30 seconds, I will hold up the yellow. And after 2 minutes of table topic talking, I will hold up the red. And at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I will clap you off the stage.
And Earl, you actually could stop after a minute because that's the minimum requirement.
Right.
So just letting you know, you don't have to.
I think maybe I just be a spectator. I can see how it goes.
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely.
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay.
We'll get
Uh,
to bed on time.
yes, table topics for this week is a potpourri. And first one is, who do you sometimes compare yourself to, Adrian?
Thank you, Table Topics Master Sherry. I often compare myself to myself because I've made it my life's mission to not start the timer. Um, I've made it my life's mission to improve continually. I know that might be an aberration today that people want to actually do personal development and get better and better and better, but I really want to be like the best version of me all the time. And I really want to make sure that I'm the same Adrian, and whether I'm in a business meeting, whether I'm in church, whether I'm on the street, it doesn't matter. With my friends, with my family, I want to be the same girl in every situation. That's really important to me. So I have been through a lot in my life. 5.5 years ago, I was in a wheelchair weighing 74 pounds and sick for 47 out of my 53 years. So life is a lot different for me now. And that's why I would say that I look up to myself. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Okay, thank you. All right. Next topic is, what do you wish you spent more time doing 5 years ago? Paul?
What do I wish I was doing more time on 5 years ago? That's actually a technique that you can do when you're in table topics or impromptu. You could actually repeat the question, and then you could actually pause. And beginning speakers sometimes think that they have to fill that silence. But believe it or not, that silence actually shows more confidence than using a whole bunch of likes and ahs and and all those different words. And now I just gave her three extra filler words, but on purpose. Fellow Toastmasters to be, most welcome guests. There are other techniques that you can do in table topics like segueing and pivoting. So you don't have to talk about the topic that the table topic master gives you. You could actually pivot and talk about something entirely different. Like, how about them Cubs? Or in somebody in Canada might say something else. How about them Maple Leafs? On that note, that's my message about table topics, and it's really easy to do, but anything takes practice. Uh, And I think my time is up in the yellow, so I'm going to yield to our table topics master.
Nice way to pivot and segue and make us guess what you wish you spent more time doing 5 years ago.
Avoid
Isn't that what he did? Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, if I have a question,
it. Yeah.
since this is my first time doing this role, I have a question.
Okay.
How, if it's supposed to be impromptu, how do I do it myself? How do I do my own
It won't be.
topic?
It won't be impromptu, but just humor us. Just say the topic, have a blank stare on your face, and make believe you're going to call on Adrian, and then say the magic words, what you're called,
Okay.
except for late to dinner.
Right. All right. Next one is, do you think crying is a sign of weakness or strength? Sherry. I believe that crying is a sign of strength because someone who has or someone who is able to cry, especially in public, has confidence because they're not thinking about what other people might be thinking of them while they're crying. Making yourself or allowing yourself to be vulnerable is a sign of strength, in my opinion. Now, on the other hand, there might be some who consider it a sign of weakness because if you were strong enough, you could hold in that crying. Take it from one who knows that doesn't work. If you have to cry, cry. People will understand. Mr. Uh,
Madam Table Topic
Mis-
Master,
yeah, okay. I was going to guess.
works for you.
Yes, that works for me.
Yeah.
All right. How many rounds should we go?
Um, you know,
One more.
we could do. Okay, she says one more. We'll do one more because we could end
Okay.
later, as long as we get
Okay.
that in for the meeting.
Okay. Next one. What would you do differently if you knew nobody would judge you? Adrian?
Wow, here we are again to the personal development questions. Let me get my timer started again. Hold on 1 second, please. Sherry, can you repeat the question?
Yes. What would you do differently if you knew nobody would judge you?
I think I would have to, if I were going to do something abhorrent that I didn't want anyone to judge me for, it would have to be rigging the lottery so that I won. And I have specific things that I already want to do with that lottery money because I am a manifesting generator, most of which I would, of course, donate back into our organization so that we could make recovery centers like ours throughout the whole country. And then I would go shopping and buy anything that I wanted to. I would travel anywhere I wanted to go. And that's what I would do if no one would judge me. Table Topics Master?
Okay. At least I know that Adrian's not an apparition. What would you do if nobody would judge you? Okay, next one is what does your joy look like today, Paul?
What does my joy look like today? I think that my joy generally is all the time happy, go lucky, want to help people. Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, especially Madam Table Topics Master, Sherry, and Adrian. All the important people are here today. Happiness is, I've heard, a state of mind. And how does one keep on that state of mind? I bet I could take a course at Recovery Comes Home and they'll probably have a formula for happiness. But I know that there are 5 books that I have on my networking and event hotline, which is 561-302-0051. Call it and you can listen to those 5 books. But I'll tell you 2 of those books, which are Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz and Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. And when I read Think and Grow Rich, I actually made it a mission to, like the late Bob Proctor, to read Think and Grow Rich every single day. Now, it's a 237-page book. You're like, well, how am I going to read 230 pages every single day? But the first time you read it, I mean, you have it dipped in yellow, you have underlines, you have things written in the margins. So it's fresh in your mind. So the next day, in 3 days, 4 days, every day, if you read that every day, everything in the 13 chapters is so fresh. Like the last chapter should not have been all about his 7 fears. But that chapter is so important because when you eliminate your fears, what's the magic way to eliminate your fears is to have a dream. And if you have a dream, you have pure happiness. And if you read Think and Grow Rich, you have an attitude that nothing could shake your tree. And that book really helps me to keep my happiness. I can't wait to hear what Adrian's formula is at a future speech. Madam Table Topic Master.
Thank you. All right, and last one, unless Earl, you sure you don't want to take a stab at it? Okay, that's all right. No pressure. All right, last one is, what makes you smile? Sherry? What makes me smile? Let me count the ways. Or you might say, let me count the things. What makes me smile? Thinking about my granddaughter. Thinking about my parents who are no longer here. Thinking about my children. All of those things make me smile. I could stop what I'm doing in the middle of the day, fresh from completing a tax return that had me stressed, and just think about my 9-year-old granddaughter and the things that she's asked for the next time she visits. And it puts a huge smile on my face, one that keeps me going for the better part of the day. It's also how I relax at night. If I'm getting into bed and feeling very stressed, I'll close my eyes and think about spending time with her. And it will make me smile and I fall off to sleep happy. Madam Table Topics Master. Okay, back to you, Toastmaster of the Day and President Pro Tem.
Although your last duties as Table Topic Master would be to ask the timer how everybody did everybody qualify, nobody went over, and then ask for a vote who is the best table topic master, table topics participant, and then people could text you who their favorite one is, since the chat isn't really private.
Okay.
We'll do that for future, the texting.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right.
But as far as the parameters, everyone fell within the parameters. Nobody was too short or too long.
Why don't we do it by applause? So you, Sherry, just say for Adrian, if you thought that she had the best table topic, and what was the topic? Say that she said maybe one of them was about smiling.
No, the smiling
No.
was mine. Hers were who she would compare herself to, and
Who do I look up to?
and
No.
no.
Who do I compare myself to? And another personal development question.
Well,
Yes.
in any event, if you thought Adrian won that, everybody clap the loudest, and let's see if it's her. Ready? Clap for Adrian.
Yeah. Woo!
Okay. Okay. Now, Sherry, which is the one you talked about?
All right. So I talked about, let's see, crying as a sign of weakness and the smiling.
And who thinks that Sherry won? Ready? Clap the loudest for Sherry.
Woo!
Right. Okay. And then what was the one I did? Or two?
You did. What do you wish you spent more time doing 5 years ago? And what does joy look like?
And if you think I won, then clap the loudest for that one. Okay,
Woo!
cool. Okay.
I think it's a three-way tie.
Okay. See, I was aiming for that on purpose, but Earl didn't clap for me. He liked the girls better. So I think
Well,
maybe that could be, or maybe just you like them better. But I'll go with Sherry's thing, and I think we should make up a certificate with all of our names on it, and I'll disperse it out, and we are the table topic winners for tonight. Move on to a third part of our meeting, and the last part of our meeting, in interest of time too, which is the evaluation phase. And the general evaluator, it's called general evaluator, is the role in Toastmasters that's in charge of the evaluation portion of the meeting. We just did the table topics. Oh, we didn't do the prepared speeches. Earl,
Right.
do you want to talk about your business for 4 to 6 minutes on the recording or no?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, I
Four to
just
6 minutes. That's pretty long. I usually get it over with in 30 seconds.
yeah. So we have to get you up there,
Oh,
but we're gonna switch to Adrian or Sherry. You guys will flip a coin. Let's see. I know I got a penny over here. Hold on, because every body should have.
come on,
Adrian,
Paul. You got to have some money. You're
I know.
saving people all that money in Medicare.
Oh wait, here. Ready? Say heads or tails, Sherry.
heads.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm saying heads or
Heads
tails for.
it is. So you get to decide if you want to speak or do you want it to be Adrian.
I think Adrian should speak.
Okay. So now Adrian, you'll have to
Yes,
tell us the timing parameters for a 4 to 6 minute introduction speech about why you started your business and how it's going so far in 4 to 6 minutes. And just as a little info, well, tell us the time parameters for 4 to 6 minutes first.
certainly. So for the prepared speeches, this particular one is that we're doing in the demo Toastmasters is an icebreaker. The icebreaker speeches are between 4 and 6 minutes. That means at 4 minutes, I will hold up the green paddle. And then at 5 minutes, I will hold up the yellow paddle. At 6 minutes, I will hold up the red paddle. And at 6 minutes and 30 seconds, I will clap you off the stage.
Good job. Everybody can clap for that. And now, just a little bit of an introduction because a good introduction sets up the speaker for an excellent speech. You should always have somebody introduce you. So, Adrian, I met her for the first time in person with my wife over at Bagel Twins here in Delray Beach for breakfast. And I learned a little bit more about her business, and it's just amazing what she and her husband have done there over at the lodge in Delray Beach and helping uh, people with mental health or substance abuse or addictions and alcohol. I think is one of their main specialties. And it's amazing to hear the passion and also some of the circumstances that she was able to overcome herself. Not so much with the alcohol, but with other health challenges. And she is here today to probably talk about some of that. So help me welcome to the stage Adrian Ticky. Adrian Ticky, why she does what she does and how she does it in 4 to 6 minutes.
Woohoo! Thank you, President Pro Tem, and whatever this section of our meeting is called, and Toastmaster. Right on. I've got to reset. Hang on. So a lot of people assume that I am addicted because I work in as a recovery strategist. And I got this job because I married into it. This is a love story. So I met my husband in church, and he introduced himself as a recovered alcoholic. And I laughed, chuckled to myself. I'm like, a recovered alcoholic? Do alcoholics even recover? And he said, yes, I've got 6 years clean. So we ended up becoming really fast friends. Both of our birthdays are on the 13th. And there was another young person. That's one thing about the Episcopal Church. You see, everybody's got gray hair. So anybody that's under 60 gravitates towards each other. So this other girl, her birthday was on August 13th. Jim's birthday was on February 13th, and mine is October 13th. So we formed this little 13 club, became fast friends, and he started talking to me about the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous on the phone, and I would tell him where it was in the Bible or in other texts. We decided that we were both recovering from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. Mine physical. I have pancreatitis due to a divided pancreas from birth, and my husband has an addiction problem that he has recovered from for 25 years now. I saw that Jim was recovering from his progressive and fatal illness, if not arrested, in the same way that I was addressing my progressive and fatal illness, if not arrested. Really, it came down to the ABCs of recovery. A is accept your situation and take action. B is be brave enough to start over and over and over until you get your goals accomplished. And C is cultivate a stellar support community for yourself. All three of those are vital, and with all of those and God's help, you can handle anything that comes down your path. We noticed this and decided that we would try to create a program around the ABCs of recovery. What ended up happening was we had people coming to our recovery residences just out of treatment for drugs and alcohol after usually a 28-day stay, and they stay with us in our recovery centers for a minimum of 6 months to a maximum of about 18 months is the longest that we've had. But our youngest resident is 18, always no younger than 18, but our oldest resident was 82. So I don't know about y'all, but I don't know if I'd want to get sober at 82. Next, we started helping people get through that first year of recovery, that vital, magical, golden first year. Because if you can get to a year in recovery, you have an 85% chance of staying in recovery long term. But if you don't get to that year in recovery, your chances drop to less than 15%. Most people will fail. Most people go home after treatment and they do not have the proper setting in place to keep on that lifestyle that they started in treatment. When we're not dealing with the residents of the house, we are doing Recovery Comes Home Radio. It's a podcast that I started to show that addiction doesn't look like what addiction used to look like. It's not the bum on the street anymore. It looks like the four of us. And we have to start talking about this and stopping the stigma so that people can recover and they can get better and can have lives that they actually enjoy and matter to them. So we do this Recovery Comes Home podcast with individuals that are in recovery. We interview parents that have loved ones, and we interview recovery professionals. And I think that the podcast is the informational arm of our business, and the recovery residences are the action part of our business. We take anybody and help anybody, even if they don't work with us. If you know someone or care about someone or even suffer yourself, Don't suffer in silence. You can call us today. You can always reach me at 561-376-5277. Thank you for your time.
Awesome. Not going through it, your speech.
What?
Not going through it, your speech. It looks like he's off to dinner. He showed us a fork and
Yes.
knife. Who brings a fork and knife to a Toastmaster meeting? Thanks, Paul. That's awesome for being our guest. All right, we're going to continue and wrap up our meeting, going to our general evaluator portion of our meeting, which gives the flavor for how the evaluations go. And how do evaluations go? Well, we're going to use the Oreo cookie or sandwich method for evaluations. When we start off on a high note, we say maybe one tip to improve, like the Oreo cookie that has a sandwich by the cream, and the cream is the good part, and the good part is the improvement, and then the end on a high note. So I'm going to keep that in mind when I pass off the to the evaluator, which will be myself doing the evaluator, which after you do 3 speeches, you qualify at our club to be an evaluator. So as soon as you do 3 speeches or 3 icebreakers, I can use all the help in the world so that we could delegate a little bit as we grow a little bit more. I have a feeling this will help us grow a little bit more. Every meeting helps us grow a little bit more. So to get right down to it, Adrienne is an advanced speaker. I heard that she talks in front of, at times, 700 people in the audience, maybe even more. I think she's hiding stuff from us. She is tremendous. She at a beginning, a middle, and an end. And even when you're doing an icebreaker speech, which really the first speech talking about somebody's job, why you do that is because you know it. You know your job. You live it. You know all those aspects. But when you're preparing other speeches, you might have to do a little bit more preparation time. But number one, the best speech is a personal story. And so just by having a personal story in all of your speeches, if you're so successful in all those talks for 700 people, I would just guess that you told your personal story like you did here today.
Mm-hmm.
And the other past demonstration meetings. We're up to our 4th demonstration meeting today. You had eye contact, and you know that when you look into the camera online, it looks like you're looking at us. So that's fantastic. Your enthusiasm is infectious and contagious, and we're so privileged to have you in our club and not one of the others. And I believe you did give us a nice testimonial that out of all the clubs you've been to, for some reason, you like us and you like our club the best. So not even being fully chartered yet, I think that's a pretty good testimonial. Not to root on your thunder. And now here's a little tip to improve. Just a good tip to say in an evaluation, just to offer something to improve that Oreo cookie method, the middle. I did this for somebody this morning in a noon Toastmaster club. And I'm going to say the same tip for you is, especially online, after giving us your personal story, to dazzle it even further, if there was some kind of prop that you use in those meetings,
Right.
the recovery comes home. If there was a prop that was so important, like if you had a talking stick that went around the room and nobody could talk without holding that stick, and a good use of the prop is you hold it up, show everybody, and then put it down, but not wave the prop around while you're talking, because then the prop would become the speaker if you waved it around. Other than that, you had an important service and an important message to get out there. And we want to thank your husband for letting us hear it tonight. We're so sorry, Jim Tickey, that we have taken away Mrs. Tickey from your Recovery Comes Home. And this won't happen again. We're going to aim for 5:30 on Mondays from now on. I pray. Maybe he's even hearing us somehow, or the message.
No, they just, you see, yeah, that's my dog.
So
They're different. They're different people, my dog and my husband.
That's the basics of about a 2 to 3 minute evaluation, which I would have asked you as timer if you could actually.
I did forget. Yeah.
Tell us, or that was my bad, but if you could just tell everybody the timing parameters for evaluation is 2, 2.5, and 3, and how that works.
Sure. So in the general evaluation portion of the meeting, The evaluator has 2 minutes. They get the green. At 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, they get the yellow. And at 3 minutes, they get the red. And at 3 minutes, 30 seconds, I will clap you off the stage.
Okay, thank you so much for the time parameters for that. And since we just had one speaker, we won't vote for the best evaluator. But when we have three speakers, it's nice to have the best evaluator. Gives us some recognition, more clapping, and then some more PR for the club as well to put a nice certificate and spread it all over the web so we could have some more members.
Well, why don't you make one up, Paul, and put your name on it?
Oh yeah, good idea. Okay, I'll do that. Thank you for the applause too, by the way. All right. So we're all kind of evaluating here. Oh, and the evaluator, the general evaluator, also evaluates the meeting overall, so it's instant feedback for the entire meeting. So evaluate how did the sergeant at arms do, how did the counter and the timer and the grammarian. This is where the general evaluator would actually ask for the reports from the speeches. So did the speech? What was the final time for the speech?
The final time for the speech was 5 minutes and 19 seconds. Sherry did a 1 minute and 26-second talk, table topic.
We don't have to do the table topics. It's okay.
Okay, just 5 minutes and 19 seconds. I was in parameter.
The speaker, so the speaker knows where how much time she did. Like somebody today, they had to do a 10-minute speech for somebody's presentation at a business, and they wanted to have them talk for 10 minutes. And I said to them, a 10-minute talk is just 2 5-minute Toastmaster talks.
Yeah.
All they needed to do is just do one question and then tell a personal story, and then another question and tell another personal story, or any variation on that. There's lots of different things you can do. So after the evaluation phase, the counter, tell us how that went. Did we do
that? We did really well today. We only had seven ahs, ums, ands, double clutches.
And how many times was the word aberration used? And see how I just
Sherry used it once, you used it once, I used it twice.
Amen to that. Okay, aberration, everybody.
Very good job.
And then from there, I would then we would go back to the
sergeant at arms.
The Toastmaster of the day would resume control of the lectern from the general evaluator, and the Toastmaster of the day would award the best table topic and best evaluator. So everybody, the awards for best table topic this evening are 3 amazing individuals that showed up tonight and pissed off their husbands and wives: Sherry White, Adrian Ticky, and Paul Finkelstein. Give them a round of applause. Okay, awesome. And now that the awards are done, I'll return the lectern to our President Pro Tem. Hi, everybody. I'm the President Pro Tem. I'm like the judge, the mailman, and the plumber.
You need 3 hats, but the problem is I can't see the top of your head, so 3 hats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
3 hats wouldn't work. But if you're the mailman and the milkman and the electrician, are you sure all those kids are yours?
I was just going to ask that question.
Exactly. I'll save that for table topics next week.
I'll talk to Sarah.
You don't mind? Yeah, you do that. All right. So, on that note, thank you guys all for playing. I'm returning the lectern over to the President Pro Tem. And the President Pro Tem, hi everybody, it's my other hat. I will bring up the Vice President of Education. You might not have heard me say this yet, but the Vice President of Education will go over the roles for the next week. And for here, just the minimum roles that we need is who's going to do table topic master and or again, and who's going to do Toastmaster of the day and or again. So should we keep it the same, or did you want to switch things up a little bit and learn how to do another role?
I don't care. I've got other.
Okay, Jimmy Crack Corn.
Yeah, well, I've got the paddles, so it's easy for me to do that.
So Sherry, why don't you give another crack at the table topics, and
I will.
I'll continue with Toastmaster of the day, and I'm gonna just double check with my boss just to say okay that we could make things easier on the Tiki household and their amazing, thriving need that they have going over there in Delray Beach.
Thank you.
On that note, I'm going to adjourn this meeting on the early side because it's easy to get the meeting done when we don't have 40 people in the room. But we also still get to learn because Toastmasters within an hour period, you have those three parts: prepared speeches, table topics, and evaluations. We'll throw in an extra here for you guys, which is feedback, like I did from my networking meetings, which is what did you like and what did you learn? So, Adrian, tell us one thing that you loved about this meeting and one thing you liked about, learned from this meeting.
One thing that I liked about this meeting is I know you guys, and it's a lot easier to speak from my heart and not from my head when I know the people that I'm speaking with. So that's one thing that I liked. One thing that I learned is that, boy, people don't try very hard to stay in the meeting, do they? They bounce and well, Fritz, I guess, tried to join twice, but
Yeah, some people have
We have
that
to
problem.
we have to figure out what's causing those problems because he's not the only one who's had it.
yeah, I know.
Any other
So
thing
that's
you liked or learned?
no, nothing else.
We could address the technical stuff after we stop the recording. So, Sherry, what did you like from the meeting and what did you learn?
Well, I think I agree with Adrian that it's much easier to be vulnerable when you know the people, when you know everybody. Being vulnerable is, like I said, it's easier. Well, I shouldn't have said that, but that's besides the point. I also learned about the phrases that qualify as double clutches.
Hmm.
What are those phrases for those people that might not know that are not listening right now?
Like I said,
You know,
but I was going to say the like I said is my biggest problem. Um, I don't know what the other ones are, but I knew that those were two big ones for me.
I suppose
it's a common.
interesting when someone says, without further ado, and at the end of
No,
the day, I've heard a lot of people say at the end of the day, and they say what they want to say. And it's like a cliche already. At the end of the day, and here's the thing. A lot of people used to say,
Here's the thing.
that's it.
Yeah,
That's
here's
it.
the
Here's
thing.
the thing.
here's the thing. I'm like that's a catchphrase to go to your conclusion. I bet they could have something more powerful than here's the thing.
And
Right.
the reason isn't to like get down on you. It's so that you improve as a speaker and that you are deliberate and intentional with your words. Like Sherry, I thought your cadence was excellent.
Thank you.
Cadence?
Yeah, the tempo
Okay,
at which.
yes, vocal variety, cadence. That's perfect. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you for playing with the feedback of like and learn. I'll just piggyback and add to that to round out our meeting and end it, which is I love when we can get through a whole Toastmaster meeting and it's not just me by myself doing all of the roles, but it's even more dynamic when there's three or four of us, and it'll be even more dynamic when we have 5 and 6 and 7 or 8. Like I went to a meeting today that had 13 or 15 people, and then it felt like it was a meeting that you go to. So thank you guys all for coming. Thank you for completing and having a well-oiled or close to well-oiled exactly the way a Toastmate meeting should go. And now we'll adjourn the meeting. I'll put the gavel on the table.